Redwire Space investors, you must watch this before the Q4 earnings. Right, let's talk. Redwire Space investors, I am so excited for Q4 earnings call. And let me tell you why. Guys, I know full well that if you're invested in Redwire Space, there is a lot to be excited for, and I'm going to explore them all in this video. I've done a presentation on what's happened in Q4 so far, and what we can expect in the Q4 earnings call. I've dove back on Q3 earnings call to see what they've promised and if they have achieved it. Guys, this is a must watch. You're going to want to grab a pen, and you probably will want to save this video because you're going to want to refer back to it even after the earnings call. I have a big concern at the moment. I invest massively myself in RocketLab, and I know some of you Redwire investors will too. However, I need you to jump down into the comments and tell me, should I be more bullish on my beloved RocketLab, or is Redwire at the moment just a must not miss opportunity? Please let me know. And while you're at it, you need to do one thing. If you want to see the Q4 earnings call live, smash that like button. And I'll tell you why. It's not just for me. We will be shown in the algorithm when the Q4 earnings call happens. So if you like a video like this around Redwire, we will be shown the day of the Q4 earnings. But anyway, without further ado, let's jump straight across this presentation and see why you need to be excited about Redwire Q4 earnings. You're going to wonder why there's a little bald man sat in the bottom corner of your presentation. But guys, it's the only way I could get myself in this presentation without cutting too many words out. But anyway, let's get right into this. So you're going to want to get your pen out because there's a lot of information here. And just take your time. If you have to go back, you have to go back. But take your time listening to this. So I'm going to jump in first of all, and we're going to focus on the HARF systems integration and spacecraft portfolio expansion. So looking at the HARF acquisition impact, we had the acquisition of the HARF systems, adding the MACO, which is the GEO and MEO, and the Thresher, which is the low Earth orbit spacecraft platform. I want to hear about updates on the integration, revenue contributions, and progress on the Tetra 5 MACO and the Thresher missions in this earnings call. Looking at the spacecraft scaling, with 5 platforms now covering VLO and GEO, I want any updates on contract wins and pipeline growth to see how far Redwire is moving up the value chain, especially for up on 100 million plus contracts. Guys, this is going to be massive. The bigger opportunities we get, the faster this company is going to grow. But we're going to dive right on further into it. So then we have the Virgin Galactic partnership. And guys, this just blew my mind. I don't know why you'd want to do business with a failing company, but they've done a business to do a research payload locker. So Redwire partnered with Virgin Galactic to manufacture research payload lockers for the Delta class spaceships. Now guys, they had their first generation, which was called the Unity, but they decommissioned that, and they're spending 2 years to create these Delta class spaceships that they think will be more operationally viable, that they can turn around within a week. And this is going to enhance microgravity research capabilities. I myself would like to hear any updates on the manufacturing process, the contract milestones, and revenue recognition for this. And that is the most important, the revenue recognition. This partnership will leverage Redwire's biotech expertise, aligning with its pillbox platform. But was it the right move to do business with a failing company? Look, you can do all this work, guys, but if the company's not in a position to pay you, you're going to put yourself in a really bad situation. Let me know, though, if you think any business is good business for Redwire. So the strategic impact, we probably will hear that this collaboration will strengthen Redwire's position in microgravity research, potentially driving additional commercial partnerships and expanding its addressable market. But I just want to know, if they are realizing the revenue before the work is complete. Because you don't want to be doing work for then Virgin Galactic to go belly up. So guys, this next one's a big one for me. It was the Edge Autonomy acquisition. Guys, the reason this is so big is because on YouTube, we're the biggest eVTOL platform. But this is a VTOL company, and I don't know why Redwire have put so much capital into acquiring them, and I need to hear a bit more. So talking about this transformational deal, Redwire's $925 million acquisition of Edge Autonomy, who is a drone manufacturer, marks a significant pivot into defense technology. But guys, was this a smart move? I want updates on why they've done this deal now, when they're still quite a small company themselves. What are their integration plans, and what are the regulatory approval processes? Guys, the FAA are so stringent these days, and especially in the VTOL market, so we need clarification on the regulatory approval processes. The deal's financial impact, including the $150 million cash and $775 million in stock, also needs to be addressed. Will this lead to further cash raises needing to be issued if there's further projects in future in order for Redwire to keep scaling at such a rate? And then looking at the defense portfolio expansion. So I agree that Edge Autonomy's UAS technology complements Redwire's space infrastructure, and it will create a multi-domain defense tech company. But we need to hear any updates on synergies, revenue projections, and defense contract opportunities. It's no good acquiring these companies if you haven't got any opportunities in line. And then the strategic rationale. We can expect that they will highlight how this acquisition positions Redwire to capitalize on autonomous warfare trends, integrating space and airborne systems for military operators. But let me know if you think, guys, this is too early in the business for Redwire for such a big acquisition. You might disagree with me, but I really think so. I may be proven wrong. Then looking at the financial health. Now this can be a bit boring for some investors, but this must be the most important in these earnings calls. So looking at the revenue and EBITDA, we know that Q3 revenue grew 9.6% to 68.6 million, with adjusted EBITDA at 2.4 million. Redwire affirmed its 2024 revenue guidance of 310 million. We will need to deep dive into the Q4 performance though, including contributions from Harif, Virgin Galactic, and the early Edge Autonomy's impact. The gross margin improvements and EAC volatility reduction will also be massive focal points in this call. Then looking at cash flow and liquidity, we had Q3's 17.7 million cash use reflecting growth investments. I believe Q4's cash flow, liquidity, and financing for Edge Autonomy would be a key focus in this call, especially given a deal of such a size. It was 925 million. Then looking at the Pillbox pharmaceutical platform. So we're going to look at the launch cadence and the IP. So with 28 Pillbox launches to the International Space Station, we want updates on customer demand, crystal replication milestones, and IP licensing, and it will highlight commercial potential. But we want details on this, guys. We want further details on this. The Virgin Galactic partnership may tie into this also, enhancing the microgravity research capabilities of Redwire as a company. And looking at the revenue model, we need updates on the progress of royalty-based revenue models and the 80 plus small molecule targets. These should emphasize the long-term growth with minimal additional investment needed for Redwire. So then looking at pipeline and contract awards. Pipeline growth with Q3's 1 billion in bids and 6.9 billion pipeline reflecting larger opportunities. I'd like them to explore further bids, especially in defense, and after that Edge Autonomy acquisition. I also want them to look at microgravity projects, and that is, yes, after the Virgin Galactic deal is completely closed. Then we'll look at backlog. We know that Q3's 30.2% backlog growth to 330.1 million was massive. However, with new awards in national security, commercial and defence sectors driving 2025 visibility, I'd like to see this rise much further than it already has. Guys, if we want this to be a massive company, we need massive results. And then looking at the strategic growth and market dynamics. So we can break it down to core offerings. I'd like to hear updates on the avionics, structures and power generations, such as the iRosa wings. And this will reinforce the operational stability of the business. And then looking at the scaling and ventures. I want to hear about the progress on Valkyrie thrusters, iRosa deliveries, and VLOR platforms, and how it's affecting scaling efforts. Then we can look at the market outlook. So we all know, with Trump's new administration comes new priorities. And with Trump's new administration, their space focus and defence focus takes the priority on this. And this will obviously align with Redwire's expanded capabilities, driving demand in national security and commercial markets. But how are Redwire approaching this? So I've got three big questions then. What are the key integration plans and financial impacts of the Edge Autonomy acquisition? And how does it position Redwire in the defence market for 2025? And guys, if you can answer any of these questions before the Q4 call, it would help me out a lot, and we can all learn together. So going on to the second question, how are Edge Autonomy's UAS technologies being integrated with Redwire Space systems? And what defence contracts are they targeting in 2025? And I know I focus heavily on Edge Autonomy, but I just think with a deal that's so big, it needs to be drilled down on. And then, what is the final big question? Well, that is, are you coming to the live earnings stream? If you are, please bang that subscribe button. So in the presentation, I did focus heavy on Edge Autonomy, but it was a 925 million acquisition. And if you haven't heard anything about it already, make sure to check out this video next, because you're going to need to know everything about this before the earnings call.